Hello royals, nice to see you here again. This is your regular source of royal news and analysis. But before we start, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to receive the earliest notification. Omid Scobie's 8 embarrassing errors in Endgame revealed, from Queen's death to titles. Author Omid Scobie has released his highly anticipated book Endgame today, November 28. The book, which has launched fresh attacks against the firm, has been released 3 years after Mr. Scobie co-wrote Finding Freedom in 2020. Endgame bears claims that leave very few members of the royal family untouched and risks embroiling the firm into another PR crisis, despite the author using various sources. To back up his words, many have noticed some embarrassing errors. Here, Express.co.uk looks at some of the typos found in the newly released Endgame, Queen's Death error, in the first part of the book. Mr. Scobie discussed the late Queen's final days before her death on September 8, 2022. The author wrote how family members raced to be by the late monarch's side, all eager to spend time with her before her passing. He then states that each member was given some time alone with the late Queen. In the book, Mr. Scobie wrote, each family member was given time alone with the Queen as she rested in peace. A final moment in private before the world, which was informed of the sovereign's passing at 6:10 p.m., was invited to join the royal family in grief. For those who remember the day well, it is known that news of the late Queen's passing came at 6:30 p.m. and not 6:10 p.m. Incorrect royal titles. Fans have noticed Mr. Scobie has referred to the now Duchess of Edinburgh as her former royal title, one which she held at the time of the late Queen's death. Back in March, a few months into King Charles's reign, it was announced that Prince Edward and his wife Sophie would be known as the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh going forward. The king had bestowed these titles to the former Earl and Countess of Wessex as they were previously known. When discussing the late Queen's death, Mr. Scobie wrote, despite her serious health issues and the unwelcome changes to her work schedule, the Queen ensured that Balmoral was a revolving door of close family members sojourning there that summer. Referencing who she was surrounded by, Mr. Scobie wrote, her son Prince Edward and his wife, Sophie, Countess of Wessex, and her grandson Prince William with Kate, then the Duchess of Cambridge, and their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Despite this error, Mr. Scobie managed to get the Princess Kate's title correct, writing that she was the then Duchess of Cambridge, reflecting her former title. But Mr. Scobie does appear to correct his error a few pages later, and wrote, Prince Andrew, Prince William, Prince Edward, and Sophie, still then the Countess of Wessex, arrived at Aberdeen Airport on a private flight just before 4 p.m. that day. He made sure to make it clear that, at the time, she was known as Countess of Wessex. In Endgame, Mr. Scobie also claimed the palace lied about Camilla's future titles and wrote, the same can be said of Queen Camilla. Those promises of her taking on only the titles Princess Consort and then Queen Consort were just white lies the palace is now keen for people to forget. But here we are. This, however, can't be classed as a lie, but instead was a natural transition. The Queen was referred to as Princess Consort after her wedding to Charles in 2005 to appease the public, as Camilla remained fiercely unpopular. The late Queen Elizabeth then spoke of her wish for Camilla to be known as Queen Consort when Charles ascended the throne, something that was adopted immediately. As the coronation approached, the palace then clarified that the consort title would be dropped, as is royal tradition. Princess Kate's staff claim. In Endgame, Princess Kate is the subject of a torrent of attacks. In the chapter dedicated to the Princess of Wales, Mr. Scobie states that she had 5 private secretaries in the space of 6 years. But Kate actually only had 3 private secretaries in that time. Mr. Scobie went on to criticize media coverage, adding, you'd be unlikely to read about it in any British newspaper. The Telegraph pointed out, however, that Kate is poised to hire the late Queen's former equerry Lieutenant Colonel Tom White as her new private secretary just last week. Princess Kate is lazy for carrying out fewer engagements. Mr. Scobie paints Kate as lazy and a mere part-time royal. He also claims that she is known as Katie Keen because the palace press office excuses her lower workload by saying that she is keen to learn. The author said that she does less than any other senior royal and that, in comparison to regular parents, she has a life that they can only dream of. Mr. Scobie also insisted that Kate doesn't plan on upping her workload for at least 10 to 15 years and until her children reach adulthood. Sticking up for Princess Kate, royal expert Richard K. has stated that she is at odds with the facts that Kate behaves like a textbook royal. Writing for the Daily Mail, he wrote, "Here is a woman who, in fact, behaves like a textbook royal. She does not show off. She is discreet, she does not complain. When she performs often tedious public engagements, she does so with poise and a dazzling smile that gives every appearance of enthusiasm. She is also, thanks to her upbringing, relatable." Kate instinctively understands that image and image-making is crucially important in the business of defining monarchy and spreading it around the world as an ideal. Queen Camilla's regular chats with Piers Morgan. Endgame alleges that Queen Camilla once thanked former Good Morning Britain host for sticking up for the royal family. Mr. Scobie wrote that Camilla quietly thanked him for defending the firm in the wake of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021. Piers has since quit Good Morning Britain and refused to apologize for comments that he previously made about Meghan. However, on his Talk TV show last night, Piers Morgan said, "On one occasion he states as a fact that I had regular phone conversations with Queen Camilla. For the record, I have never had a single phone conversation with Queen Camilla." Now he says as a fact in this book that we had regular phone conversations. That, I personally know, is an absolute lie. Princess Diana death claim, in one part of the book. The author wrote about the late Princess Diana's death in Paris in August 1997. Princess Diana died following a car crash alongside Dodi Al-Fayed and the driver Henri Paul, both of whom also died. The book claims that the accident happened after the driver was blinded by a major white flash from a camera. It alleges that Mr. Paul then lost control of the car at 65 miles per hour before it crashed into a concrete pillar. The theory was part of Mr. Al-Fayed's father Mohammed Al-Fayed's claim, who claimed that it was actually Secret Service agents who blinded the driver in a bid to make it look accidental. Both French authorities and former Met Police Chief Lord Stevens dismissed the suggestion. This happened after a thorough investigation took place. Prince William distanced himself from Prince Harry. Endgame claims that William, who has been estranged from his brother for some time, distanced himself from Harry after his wedding to Meghan Markle in 2018. But in 2019, Harry spoke on an ITV documentary, Harry and Meghan, An African Journey, that he and William were growing apart. Harry also claimed, however, that William will always be there for him. He said, "Look, we're brothers, we'll always be brothers. And we're certainly on different paths at the moment, but I'll always be there for him, as I know he'll always be there for me." King Charles and Princess Diana's end of marriage claim. The new book paints King Charles as a cheating husband and suggests that he single-handedly ruined his 15-year marriage to the late Princess Diana. While Charles has admitted to having an affair, Diana also admitted to being unfaithful during their marriage. Despite having previously described Charles as her greatest love, Diana had an affair with James Hewitt between 1986 and 1991. Charles famously cheated on Diana with his now wife Camilla, after remaining close after a relationship prior to him meeting Diana. So what do you think about this news, guys? Thank you for tuning in to today's discussion. As always, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Stay tuned for more updates on the intriguing world of royalty. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you again with some more fascinating news about the royal family. Thank you.